Victory Monday. Throw your W's up. Unless you're a Gator fan.
Oh,
Then,
I would like to say something, but we scraped out a dub against Samford.
Throw them L's up.
I guess Baker Mayfield plays for Samford. That kid put up 475 on us.
At least,
wow.
Look, at least, for Drew as an FSU fan. Hello, everyone. Beef here.
Drew.
After Drill, as always, brought to you by our friends at the UPS store in Ponte Vedra Beach.
Right, located at 830 A1A North in Tournament Plaza. Locally owned and operated by our friends, the Duncans, serving the community for the last 25 years. All your printing needs, whether it be business cards, yard signs, planners, brochures, you name it, they got you over there at the UPS store in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. You can reach them at 904-285-2345. That's 904-285-2345 as I now commence out of my robot-type system.
That was impressive. I always wondered if you were a cyborg.
Yeah,
now
something's
I know for
happening.
Sure that you are, in fact, a cyborg. Velvet Elvis here.
We got many fans, by the way.
People walk by the window, waving at us. It's crazy.
They want in so bad.
They want to be part of it.
What they don't understand is that we've built such a strong brand here. We have to really
We can't betray the brand.
Yeah, we have to really pick and choose who we do allow into this sacred. Now, look, if you're on the drill, Jeff, we've reached out.
Right, Jeff, Dan, Lauren, even. You know.
That's fine.
And even if you're on the station, like on the air,
sure,
maybe we'll let you pop in.
But these random fans.
These randos, man. I mean, you can't just roll up on the After Drill and be
anybody who's ever dealt with fame, you know how it is.
You know how it is,
it's
man.
Tough.
The paparazzi's everywhere.
Yeah.
Got a constant head on a swivel, guys. Constant vigilance.
That's right.
It's Victory Monday, man. We're excited. Jags, it was ugly, but a win's a win. And thanks to the events of Sunday, Jags alone atop the AFC South.
Alone.
At 1-0. Everyone else lost yesterday. Everyone in the AFC South lost.
How hurt is Marcus Mariota? Does anybody know? Do they have an update on that?
Boy, I mean, I don't know how hurt he was to begin with, man. That felt like putting a polite spin on a guy getting benched for Blaine Gabbert.
I'm really tired of people trying to tell me how much better Marcus Mariota is than Blake Bortles.
Will Patriots versus Jags game be more electric than the Buffalo playoff game?
No way.
I don't know what you mean by electric. I mean...
Electric, no. I was at the Buffalo playoff game.
Were you disappointed in the results?
That's the first home playoff game, and when was the last? I don't even know when the last one was.
Yeah, I get it, man. It wasn't a great game. Neither was this last one, but guess what? They won them both. So, sometimes you got to win ugly.
And maybe he's talking about, are you talking about, overall, fans and, how nuts it is, or are you just talking about, score? Because, obviously the Buffalo game was a bit of a snoozer, but...
Yeah, it was an ugly game.
Yeah.
It was a gross game. The offense
But I loved
gross.
Every first down gained.
Right.
Like my life.
Well, yeah, because then, I mean, seriously, when the offense is that putrid, then every time you move the chains, man, it feels like a huge victory. I don't know, man. I think there will be a lot more points scored next Sunday afternoon when the Jags and Patriots hook up than the Buffalo game.
Jags are gonna have to play better.
They have to play better.
I think, if anything, if you're a Jags fan, you should take away these positives from this game Sunday. You lost Leonard Fournette, and you lost him early. You had 120 yards of penalties. You punted 7 or 8 straight times in the second half, and you still won a game on the road against a team that I'm telling you right now is going to win 8 or 9 football games. The Giants are not a bad football team. Odell, Saquon, you saw what Calais had to say about Saquon after the game. Obviously, the kid's pretty good. You stuffed him all day. He finally busts open that 168-yarder. That's kind of how a running game goes sometimes, so we can't really say you shut Saquon down.
Well, there's backs like that, man. There's backs that kind of chip, and then they go for one big one, and the numbers on paper look great. I mean, he was averaging 2.2 a carry before that big run.
Man, that pick six was so big because I'm telling you, the entire time you're watching that game, and the Jags are up 13-9, you just felt like the Jags needed 20 to win. You're like, we need 20.
Right.
I think we need 20 because it was only, to me in my head, watching it, only a matter of time before either Odell or Saquon busted one. Just in my head. I'm thinking, okay, well, Jags will get one more. And right as you're starting to think that because it's getting late, boom, pick six.
Well, again, it feels like you picked up right where you left off with this defense last year. They are tremendous, and I guess there's going to be games this year where you're going to count on the defense to bring you a score because there's going to be times where the offense just is not going to be able to get it done, and yesterday was one of those games where the offense, like you said, when Fournette went out, man, just could not get it going. Whether it's by just lack of production or penalties shooting themselves in the foot, Cam Robinson had himself just a miserable time yesterday.
Man, he is.
It was a rough day, like you said. It was 11 penalties for 115 yards. It was a bad scene, man. It was not good on the penalty side. Doug Marrone, after the game, he kind of put the penalty situation on the coaches. Said, you got to get guys prepared to not make those mental mistakes.
Now I will tell you some of those calls are first game ticky tackers. I mean, two in particular I had an issue with. One of which was the holding on Tayshaun Gibson, where he grabs Ingram's finger as he runs by, and they call it holding. And then a no call, right? I mean, we're talking the ref is here, and you're TJ Yeldon. We got a horse collar, clear as day.
The no call and the horse collar.
With at the time, the game is on the line here.
That was an awful call.
I mean, it's horrible to miss something like that.
It was an awful non-call. But look, man, win's a win. And, off you go now.
Let's not forget that. Now, this is the NFL. You can win so ugly, and it does not matter.
No.
You got the win. Let's move on.
And even, to kind of extrapolate that, Week 1 is such a crapshoot in a lot of ways. You feel like you know what's going to happen, and then something always happens that you're like, whoa. In Week 1,
are the Dolphins are the Titans horrible? I thought the Dolphins were awful.
Right,
Dolphins go in there and hang 27 up on the Titans.
I asked Jeff this question this morning when we did the Friday 5-pack at the end of the week. One of the games Jeff picked, he had to pick 6 because he needed a
Titans,
makeup.
right?
He picked the Titans, and he said this is a matchup of a playoff team and dead team walking. And I asked him if he feels like after watching that game, if the description still applies, but the roles are reversed. Because the Dolphins sure look like a team that may contend for a playoff berth, and the Titans sure looked like absolute hell, which is just delightful.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Now, the Titans lost Delanie Walker. It looks like it'll be for the season. They took Marcus Mariota out after throwing interceptions on consecutive passes, and they say it was an injury, but boy, it didn't feel like an injury. It felt like he lost his job to Blaine Gabbert, at least for the rest of that game. And man, it's a bad scene in Tennessee. Their fans are not happy. Jag fans are elated because the Titans look so bad, and the Jags defense once again looks so very good.
Andrew Luck looked pretty decent in his return.
Deshaun Watson, it seems like was pretty shaky in the first half, kind of got it together in the second half. Ironically, if you look at the raw numbers, Deshaun Watson's statistics are identical to Bortles. One of them was 18-33, the other one was 17-34, and they're identical yardage, both a touchdown and a pick. But
I said this watching Bortles yesterday, and look, Blake did not play his best game by any means yesterday. But I also want to say, didn't seem like the receivers were getting a whole hell of a lot of separation. So it's not all on Bortles. At times, I mean, Cam Robinson got his lunch taken from him all day.
Bad day for Big Cam.
Yeah. I didn't think the O-line played particularly well. And basically what you saw happen was, especially after Fournette is out of the game, is the Giants just sold out on the run and dared us to throw, and TJ just couldn't get anything going on the ground, and therefore it was kind of Blake all on his own there. But again, so many people, I feel like, look at what Bortles does. And even throughout the first half, when at one point, I mean, we had 2 big-time drop catches. Bortles should have been about 15-17 for a touchdown and a pick. And people would have sat there and been like, yeah, he's playing all right. Just because what he does is, it's just not that pretty. So people sit there and you'll watch the whole game that he plays, and then you'll go back and look at the stat line and you're like, oh, really wasn't that bad. And I kind of think, and again, that's not necessarily the case yesterday, because I think he really struggled there in the second half, particularly going into the fourth quarter. A little worried about, we had a caller on the fifth quarter yesterday talk about, are the Jags really that afraid to go win a football game with Bortles, or do they trust their defense that much? Have they learned anything from that Patriots game? I don't know, but I do know that the defense shut them down all day. Again, there was one caller basically who had a big gripe with the final drive where we run 3 straight dives into the middle and we got to get the Giants to burn their timeouts, because you're not trying to give Eli the ball back with 2 minutes to go.
Right.
You have to do that. Now, if you want to get a little more creative about what runs you're doing, right, sure, but you're not letting Bortles throw there. Because, by the way, Jags fans, we had the Cardinals game last year where we did the exact opposite, and I think that stuck in Marrone's head a lot going into that AFC title game, where you go and you're trying to just go down the field anyways. Blake ends up throwing the pick, you lose the football game instead of running the clock down. So same type of deal. It's always a double-sided coin. People. Right. What if Bortles does throw a pick right there, or the Giants have this ample amount of time to go down the field? Right. Everybody would have been like, "Why wouldn't we run the ball?" There's always an easy answer outside looking in.
CCG says the reception is pretty good at the top of the Buckman Bridge. Normally, I would think that's a joke, but he's a big Gator fan, so he may be going up there. Don't do it, CCG. Don't do it. It's one game, buddy. Kentucky ends the streak.
It's almost like you got a little too excited about Charleston Southern, not like we all told you so.
Kentucky ends the streak at 31 years of consecutive Gator victories over Kentucky, but no more. The Cats come in and do it in Gainesville. So, the streak is over. The Gators, that's a disappointing loss. I know, Drew, you're a Knoll guy, and even though you won the game, I don't think you're feeling a whole lot better about your team.
I'm not talking, like I tweeted after the game, in no way do any of us have anything to say. Gator fans, you can't say nothing to me about us almost losing to Samford, and I can't say anything to you about losing to Kentucky, really, because, to be honest, we're both putrid at this point in time. We're not good football teams. And it's going to be a crapshoot in November, and that it is what it is. I will say this, though. That Kentucky team is not a good football team. They almost lost to Central Michigan, who gave Kansas their first road win in 46 tries. And not only did they give Kansas their first road win in 46 tries, they lost 31-7. That Kentucky team turned the ball over 4 times against that Central Michigan team week 1. Maybe that's just a week 1 jitters. Maybe Kentucky will go on to have a great year, but I'm sure they won't, because they're Kentucky. So you should be just as worried as we are at this point in time. There should be nobody getting at each other on Twitter because we both suck. That's all I have to say.
There's that. But I will say this: as bad as things are in Gainesville right now, coming off the loss to Kentucky, there's one thing that the Gators can hang on. And I'm an impartial third-party observer.
Sure.
Okay, I'm not a fan of either team. But there's one thing Florida fans can sort of lord over Florida State fans right now, and it's that down in Gainesville, they do not have, currently in their possession, a turnover purse.
Yeah. Or
backpack, or whatever you want to call it. European carry-all. It's not a good look.
No.
Now the FSU people claimed it's not a backpack. It's for turnovers. It's called securing the bag.
I don't.
That sounds like spin.
All I see.
It's a giant mauve backpack.
Let me give you a little rendition of what I see.
Thank you.
Have any of you guys ever seen the show called? It's very famous. Dora the Explorer.
Yes.
This is all I see. Backpack, 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 backpack. That's all I see.
That was beautiful.
Thank you very much.
That was wow.
I just thought I would give that to the people.
I'll bet when you tuned in for After Drill, you didn't think you were going to get a dance number.
You didn't think, but you did.
But you did, free of charge.
You're welcome.
Or if you want to send Drew a check
for
his dance moves or shove a couple singles in his G-string, that's fine.
Either way, I always wear it just in case.
It's it's wise. So we look ahead now. Jags a 4:25 kick Sunday against the New England Patriots, and the CBS sending in the A team this week. We're with the big boys now, guys.
Oh yeah,
Nance and Romo coming in. Romo, the face of Corona.
No kidding.
He's temporarily holding John Gruden's job for about 2 years until Gruden gets himself fired with the Raiders, and he'll be back doing the Corona hotline.
Hey,
but for now.
By the way, any of you clowns who still think trading Khalil Mack was a good idea, did you watch that football game last night? He almost single-handedly won the Bears the game.
I'd give about 8 first-round picks for that guy. I would sacrifice a decade of first-round draft picks because that's the one guy you want to nail. That's the guy. That's why you have first-round picks, because you want to find a Khalil Mack.
That's the funny part to me. It's like, we got a couple of first-round picks back. I'm like, what player are you getting in the first round that's better than Khalil Mack?
You're not. You will not. And by the way, those first-round picks from the Bears that you get, next year's might be okay. After that, they're probably going to be crappy picks.
Yeah.
You got nothing, and you gave a second-rounder back to them.
Yeah.
That, by the way, they'll probably draft better than you do and get another player.
Yeah.
So bad. So dumb. Khalil Mack is so good. They lost that game because Aaron Rodgers came back after
a freak.
Sipping some holy water or something and came back in. Rodgers, I think that they may have been a little dramatic with the cart. And then came back in the second half and did what Aaron Rodgers does. The Packers win.
He said, "Fear not, my cheeseheads."
What I did enjoy is that people pointed out that, ironically, that Allen Robinson, he left the Jaguars and signed with the Bears, and said it's ironic that he left, be a quarterback who sort of is not particularly great. He sort of leads them into jump balls and 50-50 catches.
Sure.
And he basically went to go play with that in Chicago.
Yeah, that's funny, Alan, because I'm telling you right now, outside observer, I would not want Mitch Trubisky over Blake Bortles. I just wouldn't take him. Yeah. I don't see what the point would be in doing
Mitch doesn't look a whole lot different than...
And guess what? The Jaguars are better than the Bears as well, Alan. So,
There is
I know you're watching because you like to hang on to Jacksonville in some way, and we got a lot of big-time fans.
A-Rob's a big fan. Now, he usually watches under his assumed Facebook identity, Tony Agolini.
Mm-hmm.
But believe me, folks,
it's him.
That's Allen Robinson. Watching from Chicago. So
but man, it really is funny. It
A-Rob?
really is funny to watch people go. I mean, A-Rob. So he had 3 catches for 49 yards early, and immediately I see all over. I can't believe the Jags didn't re-sign Allen. Now look. If Andrew Norwell plays like he did yesterday for the rest of the season, then maybe we should have re-signed Allen Robinson over him. But
again, it never felt like Allen Robinson wanted to be back here.
That's the thing that I think everybody's forgetting. It's not like the Jags weren't willing to pay the guy.
They tried.
They tried to a certain extent, and I don't think he really wanted to be here.
I don't think he wanted to be here, which is fine. Look, he's a good player. He's coming off a big injury, and I hope he does well. But
have fun never making the playoffs.
Good luck, dude.
Bud.
Well, I mean, we thought that until they went and got Khalil Mack. Now we'll probably see Allen Robinson in the Super Bowl in the next 3 years.
That's cool.
But yeah, looks like the monsters of the Midway are
Who's
back.
leading them? Is it Chase Daniels? You're going to have Chase Daniels out there?
Big Chase.
The all-time... dude, this guy, Chase Daniels, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the numbers. I mean, he is just he's been a backup quarterback in the league for... He was on that Missouri team that was, like, playing Kansas... when they were like number 1 and number 2 in the nation, like a long time ago. I can't remember how long ago that was, but it was a while ago. It was like Aqib Talib was on Kansas.
I was going to say, if Kansas was number 1 and number 2 in the nation, then it was probably
Kansas, Missouri.
I'm about to look it up. Years ago.
Kansas, Missouri. Chase Daniel. I mean, big time game. And this guy's been a backup in the league, and he's forever barely got a scratch on him, and he's made so much money. It's awesome.
It's amazing. There's been a lot of those guys, though. Speaking of dudes making a lot of money and career backups, shout out to Ryan Fitzpatrick yesterday for just lighting up the New Orleans Saints and taking a can of gasoline to many people's suicide pools on Sunday.
Missouri, number 4 Missouri, number 4 11-1 Missouri defeats number 2 11-1 Kansas, 36-28.
It's literally 1 versus 2, Drew. You kind of misled the Googans.
Okay, it was pretty close.
You misled the Googans there. Keep in mind, the voters on the polls haven't quite figured out that the Big 12 is trash at that point.
I can't believe there was ever a time Kansas was number 2 in football.
I can't believe there was a time where the SEC thought, hey, you know who would be a good team to be in our league? Missouri.
Couldn't do any better than that.
Couldn't do any better than Missouri. Missouri was it. Good call, guys. Great move. So, yeah. Well, on that note, we'll bid you guys a fond adieu or etu, and we'll be back tomorrow for another edition of After Drill. Wow. Power fist from Drew. Impressive.